What's up and welcome back everybody to my channel. Man, things have been crazy. I read on Twitter 2 days ago this tweet that was about Trump saying this is a pandemic, and I've known for a long time or the whole time that this is a pandemic or was a pandemic. And you're lying, because you also said it was just like the flu and it was just gonna disappear like a miracle. So I don't want to down anyone. I mean, scientists predicted, but I think no normal person realized how quickly this would spread and how severe it would get. So there was SARS just a few years ago, but man, this is hitting us hard. So I thought the best way to deal with all of this is to just shed some light on it, keep it light, keep it positive, and maybe do something fun like how to keep fit and healthy during the coronavirus lockdown. So that's what I'm going to be chatting about today. Just a disclaimer, I'm not medically trained, I'm not a medical doctor, and I think there are a lot of YouTubers out there with great intentions but might be giving you false information. So I'm just here to present some research and talk to you about my expertise, which is obviously plant-based nutrition, fitness, and wellness. So the most important thing is to look at the World Health Organization website or your country's website, listen to what they're advising you and stick to that, stay safe. So that's the most important thing. Yeah, just keep checking up and keep researching for yourself. Don't take anything that anyone has to say as the cold hard truth. Look at me, I can do it. So me and my fluffy little pillow here, we're going to be telling you a little something about how I would deal, or how we're not on lockdown thankfully, but how I would deal with it if I was on lockdown. And as you can see in the background, my kettle broke, so I feel like I'm in the 19th century using my kettle here, drinking tea out of a Bell's cup because we don't got time to do dishes when we've got videos to record. I actually don't want to admit how many of these Bell's cups we have, and it's not particularly that Bell's is our favorite whiskey, it's just that it's the cheapest one in Korea, and whiskey is what I like to drink along with tea. Balance is what we would go say for that. Anywho, let's jump in. So firstly, people are freaking out with the word coronavirus, when in reality coronavirus has been around for ages. Coronavirus is the common flu, it was the SARS. We've probably all had coronavirus at least once in our life as kids, and it's not the coronavirus that we're seeing now is novel coronavirus, or COVID-19, or Wuhan virus, or coronavirus disease. So it is just a different strain. And I was chatting a bit in my last video about how it came about, but basically they think it's just from a combination of bat's blood and another animal which I can never remember the name of. Rogan told me just before this video, but I forgot. But basically those two animals, their blood or pus or some kind of bodily fluid might have mixed, and then the human obviously touched that mixture and then touched their face, and then obviously touched a plastic bag which might have come to you. Anyway, yeah, things happened in Wuhan in the wet markets, which I don't support. That's a story for another day. And so we have the COVID-19 coronavirus disease that we see today. So just to clear up a little bit on coronaviruses in general are not nearly as dangerous as this one, although this one is particularly dangerous because the death rate isn't so high. It's more that it's just incredibly infectious, I think, is the problem. So let's not waste any more time on that. Let's talk about what we can do while we're on lockdown. So I'm going to give 5 tips for each. So my top 5 tips for staying fit while on coronavirus lockdown. Obviously the first one is, if you have a body, you have a gym. So do some home workouts. There are so many like fun, just body weighted things that you can do. You don't need any equipment for. So let me know in the comments below or on my DMs on my Instagram, Erin Slingerland Fit, if you want me to do some fun like at home workouts that you can do while on lockdown. I can get on that for sure. Then the second tip is that you can also use things that are around your house. You pick up your kids, pick up your pets. There's some upright rows. maybe you do have some bands, use some water bottles, squat with a watermelon or a pineapple. There's a lot of fun ways. A lot of us are also blessed to have gardens, which we don't have in Korea. So if you're on lockdown and you have a garden, you're not even on lockdown, you're just like on happiness time. I don't even know. That would be a sweet life. Gardens, my goodness, what are those things? Yeah, anywho. Okay, so that was number 2. Let me check number 3. It was to play. Just play more. Like I said, if you have a garden, go outside and play. Play with your kids. Do some handstands. Do some cartwheels. Maybe have a swimming pool. I mean, go swimming. Wow, the options are really endless, but make it less arduous and less hard to do, and just incorporate a bit of fun and a bit of play. A lot of us can do some Wii Fit at home, but even games like tag or like hide and seek, anything that's incorporating movement is essentially what we're trying to do. We just want to try and not be still too much. So that was tip number 3. Tip number 4 is some online classes. So a lot of people have started taking their businesses online. I've seen some great yoga teachers start doing yoga online, which is so fun. So definitely check out if the gym that you usually attend, or if the instructors that you usually follow, if they are giving some online classes, because that I think is a great way to still get that connectivity with other people, have someone check your form, and also keep you accountable. So that's a really great one that I think we should all be utilizing. And number 5 is to go for a walk, or just some time outside. And that I know isn't possible for all of us on lockdown, but for those of us that are allowed to go outside, obviously we make sure to take a walk or a bike ride, and we just need to avoid social contact and utilize social distancing. So don't shake hands, keep your distance from other people, but do go for a walk or bike ride outside, because that vitamin D is a hormone that we definitely do need for our mood and just our overall health and keeping that immune system up. So it is incredibly important. And if you can't get to the outside, then open the window and sit in the sun a little bit. We definitely can't slack on that vitamin D. And a little bonus tip is definitely to get some yoga or some stretching in. I feel like flexibility is the most neglected of the 3 prongs of fitness, being strength, cardio, and flexibility. And flexibility is definitely neglected. So if you're not currently doing yoga, you can never do enough yoga and stretching, in my opinion. I'm sure you can, but I can never do enough. So definitely utilize this time to really aid yourself or prevent injury by stretching and practicing some yoga now. And it is just fun and mindful and zen and peace. That's what we want in our lives, especially during this stressful time. I feel like I can't speak today. Ooh. Okay, moving on. That was our tips for fitness. Our next one we're going to do is nutrition. This is obviously my favorite portion. So the first thing I want to do is, obviously, I'm going to recommend to eat a whole food, plant-based diet. Why? Because whole food, the whole plant is just packed with nutrients. That's why they're nutrient dense. They're full of antioxidants and phytonutrients. Your greens, your cruciferous veg, these are all the things that naturally do boost your immune system. So I'm going to chat about in my next video like a whole nutrition, a whole blog and video dedicated to just the nutrition aspect of keeping your immune system up. But keeping your immune system up, there's no one superfood that's gonna always keep you healthy. It's about a holistic approach. So it is moving your body, taking care of your wellness, and this nutrition aspect. But I do know that the nutrition plays such a such a lame word, monumental role in keeping your immune system up, and it has a direct influence on it. So yeah, that's a big one. But my quick tip today is to focus on whole food, plant-based. And obviously I know not everybody is completely vegan or completely plant-based. That's fine. All I'm saying is focus. More veggies, more whole foods, more plants. Go team. Okay, let's pretend that didn't happen. Okay, the next tip number 2 for nutrition is to use what you already have. So I know a lot of people are just running to the shops and grabbing everything they can, and now they just have this random bunch of stuff perishables sitting in their fridge. So what you can do with that is blend it all together and make a soup, make a stir fry, make a curry, make a stew. Just blend what you have together, use what you have, and get creative with that. Don't worry that you not eating what you usually eat. Take this time to get creative and use what you already have. Tip number 3 is that frozen food is fine. People worry that frozen food is not as nutritious, when in fact it is flash frozen at its peak ripeness, and sometimes even more nutritious than the food that you're seeing on your shelves, on your shop shelves. Because even things like apples I think they can be on the shelf and behind for up to a year before you consume them. So utilize frozen foods. That's what you want to go for. Then the next tip is to use delivery services. So I know not all of us are lucky enough to have access to things like that, but for those of you that are, I think it's a great way to get the foods that you need, that you can get online and support those businesses. There are also a lot of small businesses that are delivering food, even meals that they're already that are pre-made. So I think it's a great time to also support small businesses. But what I also love, my next tip, is that this is also time to get creative in the kitchen. This is a time to spend cooking for yourself, because a lot of people, I read a study the other day where it's a certain amount of people never eat at home. They don't even know that whether or not their stoves work, which is crazy to me. So I think this is a great time to connect with your food, connect with your family, because cooking is love, So I think this is a great way to show your love. Take some time, learn some new recipes, get creative with the random foods in your fridge and the frozen foods in your freezer, and learn some new cooking skills. So I think that was all of my tips from there. Oh yes, and a bonus tip is a greens powder for the immune system. So I know a lot of us are stocking up on multivitamins, and while I think they definitely do have a place, I think something like a greens powder is just so much more bioavailable for your body, for absorption, because obviously a multivitamin is just a concoction. It's kind of a reductionist view of taking different vitamins that are made in a lab and just putting them together in a pill, whereas a greens powder is a blend of whole foods that your body will obviously recognize, and it's also servings of greens, which we know are so good for our immune system. So that's just a bonus tip, take it or leave it. And the last section is wellness. So my 5 tips for wellness is, firstly, take this time to meditate. I think things are crazy. I think life in general is crazy. So there's no time like the present to, especially if you tell yourself you're one of those busy people that don't have time, then meditation is for you. Take this time to learn to meditate. Do it as a group activity with your friends, and keep yourselves accountable that way. Do it with your family, do it with your spouse. But most importantly, just make sure you're doing it, and obviously the best way is to do it yourself. There are tons of apps and guided meditations on YouTube. Well, the apps are on app stores, and guided meditations on YouTube, but a super simple one is putting on your timer for 10 minutes with a nice alarm at the end, and nice alarm isn't not darn, it's some chimes or bells or something, which is just what I find helps me. And you just practice breathing, and you can do something like X breathing, where you breathe in for 2, hold for 4, and breathe out for 4 or 8. If that's too complicated, you can breathe in for 5, breathe out for 5. Whenever your mind wanders, you come back to the breath. You think about how the breath feels coming in and out of your nose. You think about what it feels like when your stomach expands and goes back down. So it's just all about trying to just focus on the present moment. And if that doesn't work for you, a great technique that I like to use is just using my different senses. So even when my eyes are closed, I feel like I can see different colors and things going on behind my eyes, and I just focus on what I can see there. And then I think about what I can hear, and I try to focus on the furthest sound I can hear, and what I can smell, and then I spend some time on my breathing. What I can taste, I think about some of my favorite tastes. All about just trying to give yourself some time to be in the present. That's what meditation is really all about, really honing in your focus. The next one is to connect with others, especially the extroverts. I am a lucky introvert, so this time hasn't been awful for me, but for those that are the extroverts, make sure you're connecting with those friends. But also this is a great time to connect with loved ones that you haven't in a long time, some friends and family all over the world. Use Zoom, use Skype, use whatever you have to do to connect with others. What an incredible gift we have to have this time to connect with ourselves through meditation and others. The next one is to rest. I think in these really crazy busy lives that we lead, this is the universe's way of telling you and I that you need to rest. So I'm going to listen, and I really hope you do too, because I think this is also an incredible time to define your vision and where your life is now and where you want it to be, which links to my next tip, which is to try something new. So I think a lot of people haven't done vision boards, which I think are so fun. So if you haven't, that could be the new thing you try, where you can decide on what you want your life to look like in 5 or 10 years, and you can get the family involved and cut some magazines or print some things and make your own vision board, and actually just make sure if you're on the path to the vision that you want to have for your life. I think some people live in limbo and don't actually explore that. So this could be a fun time to do that. You could also learn something new on that same kind of wavelength. You could buy an online course, do a nutrition course, or like a holistic course with me, or do on Udemy. There's a bunch of courses. There's so many. I think this is also a fun time to support the people that you support, as in like use your dollar to support that the people that you usually support, like pom support. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like the people that you love to listen to, support them through getting some online courses from them and getting to connect with them as well. And the last one was to declutter. That's a really fun one. Actually, Rogan literally just decluttered his cupboard, and that was so cool to see how much stuff he can give away and how people are going to benefit from that. But I think decluttering is basically leading into the fifth tip, is to declutter. But what I mean by it is to do small things that make you feel good, like declutter, like move your body. And these are the things that are going to support our well-being and our mindset through this really difficult time. So yeah, I hope that those are all of my tips, my 5 fitness tips, my 5 nutrition tips, and my 5 wellness tips to stay fit and healthy during coronavirus lockdown. Like and subscribe if you like these kinds of videos. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm a little bit of everywhere, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Stay safe, stay healthy, listen to what the research is telling us. I will see you next time. Bye bye.